wow, this is really happening. I recorded my first song. I got a guest feature, Ray J, on it. We doing the music video, and it's my birthday. It was the coolest thing ever.
You started at the age of 13 making music.
After that, kept making more songs. Crazy journey. My family 100% behind me, and I couldn't be happier about it.
Ozie, it's great to have you.
Thank you so much for having me.
Hey everyone, this is Erin Ashley Simon, and welcome to Real Gems with Erin. Today we have a special guest. He is an artist, an actor, and a youth ambassador. Please welcome Ozie Nzeribe. I'm super excited to talk to you. You're a very multifaceted individual, and especially when it comes to Real Gems, we talk with a lot of creatives, creators, and very talented people who have been able to basically find multiple ways of showcasing their talent. And one of the ways that you have was you started at the age of 13 making music, including genres like rap and R&B and Afrobeat. You were also in Beyonce's Black is King music video. So let's start with your beginnings. How did you get into music?
Music has always been a big part of my life since as long as I can remember. Whether it's singing covers, rapper and singing covers, even songs of my favorite artists, this, that, and the third. But to get into it, when I first initially wrote my first, or attempted to write my first song at the age of 12. By this time, my parents were kind of sure, especially my mom was really adamant on okay, I can see that this is something he's actually interested in. Because with kids, you got to check. They can be into this, they can be into that, but you kind of got to she's been watching me closely of those years when I was just really into music and saying, okay, this is something I want to do. And I expressed that to her. I wrote my first song. We actually wrote it at 11. There we go. Wrote it at 11. Then by 12, I think she met with some industry people that we knew through family that could possibly help us make a song, distribution, all that, and also hopefully finding a collaboration to make the first song just really go out. So not too long later, we got results back of people who can help, and also gave me a list of people that I could possibly do collab with. And on that list, is the name I recognized off the bat was Ray J. And I was like, if you can, you can, because people say stuff all the time oh yeah, we could meet up this, we could link up this,
yeah.
and the third, but you never really take it seriously. And especially me as a kid, I'm wide-eyed. But actually, it went through. We did the whole meetup, link up, worked out the fine details, and on my 13th birthday, we made the music video. So right on the cusp of that, it was so cool to wow, this is really happening. I recorded my first song. I got a guest feature, Ray J, on it. We doing the music video, and it's my birthday. It was the coolest thing ever. One of the top 10 moments, core memories that I have forever. And yeah, that's what jump-started my whole music venture. After that, kept making more songs. You work with some certain people that, showed you kind of how the industry works, because everybody needs that crash course that not everybody in this game is going to be forthcoming and upfront about certain things. But you live, you learn. And from then on, I've gone on a crazy journey. My family 100% behind me, and I couldn't be happier about it.
In terms of music, have you been able to meet any of your musical inspirations?
I've met quite a bunch. Yes, I have. Starting with, I've met Tyler, the Creator, the GOAT, great, one of the greats. Like I told you at the time, one of my starts was obviously Ray J. I met even on the Afrobeat side of things, Olamide, DeVito, just so many I've met a lot of people. There's still a lot I would love to meet, but I've met a lot of my top 10 for sure.
And it's great because you're finding such success at a young age. But when it comes with that, do you feel like people underestimate what you can accomplish? How do you maneuver being so young and accomplishing all these things and meeting all these kinds of people and people really taking you seriously?
Definitely at the start, it was definitely a thing when people underestimating pretty much either underestimating, because at the start of things, nobody wants to be there for the start until things start going great. And then everybody's like, oh, I was always there. Where realistically, not a lot of them were. But definitely a lot of underestimation, because, when you're starting out, you have certain things you got to perfect. and that comes with experience and age as time goes on. But at the start, I've dealt with so many hecklers, and even at my old schools, because I was really in my old city. That's the only place. I was the only person really doing stuff like that. I was only doing person doing music entertainment. So when I would post to YouTube, social media, there's people that would spend their time going to the computer lab and like just commenting all this negative stuff or saying this or making jokes, being funny. But it's like till today now the stuff is actually going great and going, where I would hope it is going. Now everybody, hey, always thought you could. Nah. But definitely, yes, a lot of people doubted my ability when I was younger, for sure.
So how do you find that motivation? Like when you have all these hecklers and people who don't believe in you, how do you find the motivation to take, okay, this is the first success point I have. What's the next one? Like how do you keep going?
It fuels me. I get fueled by negativity. That's just my own energy because you taking your time because your haters are your really biggest fans. I remember I think I coined like a phrase in one of my lyrics beforehand, like all your haters turn to real fans slowly, because realistically you taking all this time out your day to go to my stuff, view it, and you giving me more views and money towards my stuff when you come over here and type all this and you showing you caring enough to go to every single thing I drop and have something to say this and that. So it fuels my energy, keeps me going because you're not really doing the right thing unless people mad at you. Unless people hate you, unless they're going out their way to be all on your head on some, disrespecting you, cursing, whatever it is. Like I don't feel like you've truly done enough or got to that star meter point where it's like, okay, you're doing good or you're doing something right because people are hating on you. That's just my philosophy.
But on the other end, you have like the more positive side, which is people who do support you, and you've built a fan base domestically in the U.S. and internationally in Africa. So how has that contributed to your success as an artist?
That's been real different. It's contributed a lot. There's a lot of day ones that have been here, and it makes me happy to see that because like I remember, I know I talked about like the negative stuff, but also a lot of good when I was starting out, and the same people that were following me since I was like 12, 13, age of 21, still here with me commenting, even if I'm other exploits going into acting and everything else. They're like rock with me since day one, especially a lot of my fan base that yes came from here, but also Nigeria, because that's where a lot of my other collabs happened in my other music venturing, because I did a lot of rap and R&B, but I wanted to also explore Afrobeat because I am Nigerian. And that's just to have that kind of fan base that was rocking me for this long and haven't got sick of me yet, you know what I mean? And then adding on more people that also like my vibe is real cool. It's helped a lot.
Yeah, it's cool that as you grow, you start to see that there's support that can come from anywhere, and sometimes it surprises you where it can come from.
For real.
Yeah, and for you, as you continued on with your artistry and music, and then now you're pushing a lot more in acting. How has that support transitioned for you?
Yes, I do see the crossover, and it's so funny because so basically my artist name, stage name starting out was Z Money. ZMNY.
Oh, Z Money. Hey.
Yeah, Z Money, that's right. Yeah, I haven't gone by in a while because realistically, I came to a point in my life where I realized, I kind of outgrew it in a way. It served me as long as it needed to and all that. But it's funny when you like look up Z Money or ZMNY, then you get the music, this and that. You look up Ozie Nzeribe, you get the actor. So a lot of people were confused on who the other person was. So people from the music was like, all right, who this? And the people from the acting was like, all right, who this? And the crossover was really crazy to kind of witness. But after slowly, people started catching on, especially because when I started to articulate myself and let it be known that, okay, guys, that was my stage name, when I heavy on the music and all that. But everybody's still very standing strong, rocking with me, Ozie Z Money. And I love the crossover so very much.
Yeah, I had a crossover too. I started actually my career in the sports industry and then music, and then now I work in the video game industry. So I've been seeing crossovers.
Okay.
Yeah. So I've been seeing crossovers for that. So that's been pretty cool to see. And another thing that I can tell just from the conversation with you is like how important your heritage is to you. So same for me. I'm Puerto Rican, and that's so important to me, and even with the representation that I feel like I stand for in the industry, like to represent, for me, Black youth and Hispanic youth is really big. And so, how does your Nigerian heritage come into play when it comes to your career?
Well, it took me a while to kind of get set in the understanding because I was still born and raised out here, LA, Cali, born and raised, and the dynamic, the teachers, everything. So at the time when I was younger, I would understand, but then everything was either odd to me or like, nah, like I wasn't like even visiting for me at the time. I was like, okay, it was cool to see family, but it was just so different
Yeah.
from out here. And I didn't get how important it was that I did those things. Cause like, as far as the connections where I went to like I visit Nigeria with family, but like the times I went for specifically music and collaborations and it growing my fan base, I didn't understand like, why aren't we just doing it here? Because bringing it back home is so important. Giving everybody, my little cousins, family members, everybody out there a little slice of like, okay, it's always good to bring stuff back home, another win in our category. Cause even in the Grammys now we have the Afro category, which I couldn't be happier about time. But I didn't realize at the time, like when my mom was like my momager pretty much. And when she was guiding me down that path with all these people, through the Afro side and the Nigerian side, like I didn't realize until now how awesome that was. Cause like the people like, the big artists like Davido, Olamide, all these people, I didn't understand it at the time. Now I'm like, thank you. Thank you. Thank you for bringing it back to me. It's good to have culture. It's good to have a background of where you came from. Everybody needs to bring it back home. You got to. The win is meaningless if you don't. Because I'm not gonna pretend like I'm just an American kid. I'm both. I'm two worlds, Nigeria and America. So it's very important to me that shines through. I always make sure there's a good mix of my music from even the new stuff I'm about to put out soon, which y'all ain't ready for that. Y'all ain't ready for that. Still a good mix of R&B, rap, but then the Afro still hitting hard till today. So yeah.
No, that's great. And like you said, it's so important to go back home. It's so important to not forget who you are as you navigate in the entertainment industry because you can lose yourself. I mean, and
Ooh,
you're so young still. Like for you, like how do you keep yourself grounded and not let the glam and the glitz, really consume?
it's a mix of two things. For one, I am never truly satisfied with things. I always strive for more. So even if I hit something that could be like, okay, that was amazing, this and that, acknowledge it for a second, keep moving forward. Because it's like there's always more to accomplish, there's more to do. I'm such like my hunger to continue to succeed and do more and accomplish more, like puts down any kind of like, oh, I'm the toughest person in the room. I'm cool. I'm this, I'm that. Because a lot of time I do forget a lot of the stuff that I've done before, and that I'm like, because I'm still focused on where I'm trying to continue to go and continue to grow. But that's what I think, in essence, keeps me humble, which I'm glad I have that and grounded. That not me having such a big head thinking, oh, this, because I don't go around saying I do this, I do. That's not the first thing I say when I walk in a room. If you notice me, you notice me. If you don't, you don't. It's cool. I'm just trying to keep it pushing. But second on that is my family keeps me real grounded. It's a lot of stuff is always upbringing. You know what I mean? My mom has always taught me valuing being humble, thanking God for everything you have. It can always be taken away at an instance. Don't be selfish with nothing. Spread as much as you can. So it's really that whole family aspect. My parents taught me right, and my brother, everybody has been an influence in my life to keep that humbleness in as well. Next to my need to just succeed and strive more, and not focus too much on, oh, this was cool, this was cool. It's cool to sit for a minute and be like, all right, I did that. That's cool. But keep thinking ahead. Keep pushing for the future.
Yeah, and also success is not linear. And you have peaks, you have valleys, you have ups, you have downs. It's never just a straight shot. And yeah, it's never a straight shot. And like that's something that I've realized over time where there's moments where things are great and there's moments when things are not great. And you just gotta be able to push through and stay humble, like you said, and be grounded. And but for you, it's even more recently you've been seeing that growth and that climb for you, especially because recently you're in Swagger, Stepmother 3. Those are some of your recent roles. But you've also been on shows like Shameless, Little Fires Everywhere, Dad Stop Embarrassing Me with Jamie Foxx, and so forth. And I believe there was an interview you were talking about the character in Swagger, that you had some similarities with this character, or you resonate with this character in some shape or form. Correct me if I'm wrong. So when you get these roles and you notice like, oh, I found some similarities. Like, how do you find those connection points, and how do you like, in terms of like the acting role, like how do you get into those and be like, oh, this is something that I can connect to? Like, how was that moment for you?
So there's not always going to be a time where you can specifically connect with the role you're going for. It's a nice surprise when you're like, oh, hey, that actually makes it easier. Matter of fact, because it's like, okay, you have a vantage point. You have somewhere like, okay, an understanding of idea how to like, okay, go about playing this character because there's similarities like Swagger, Royale. He's like he comes from a kind of a wealthier family. You know what I mean? That's doing well for themselves. So family that's worked hard to get to where they are, and is kind of discriminated against because you don't know how to do this or you ain't this because you're in this area and the kids aren't from the same area. I've had the same dealings and touches with dyslexia. I mean, I've struggled with that growing up, and I didn't even realize it was like a thing or that I had it until probably a little after I left high school. And seeing stuff like that, it's like, okay, I definitely know how to kind of sink into the pocket of this role and how to go about playing this character, but also still not portraying myself, because you always want to bring to life the character, the director and the writers and the whole production is put together. I want to bring that vision to life. That's my main prize. So I'm gonna take the similarities that I know and only to enhance the similarities with the character, but also make that character separate from myself. But as far as the ones that don't like, particularly resonate with me and this and that, like that I don't have a similarity with, I prefer those. It's more of a challenge because it's something I get to be me all the time. You know what I mean? I'm me every day when I wake up to when I go to bed.
Yeah.
So when I get characters, I love playing characters so different from my actual personality. I love the different roles. It's probably nothing I'll pretty much turn down. I probably have a couple things, but like I would love to do the horror. I would love to do the action, the drama, the comedy, all of that. I love it with a passion because you get to step out yourself for a day. Although I love myself. You step out yourself just for a minute to step in the shoes of a whole different character, a whole different world that you get to portray. And when you do that, you see it. Because when they hand you the breakdown with, okay, they give us packets basically each time I do a show or a movie or whatever. They give us a package, breakdown of the character, who they are, so you can get a feel of it and also kind of put in your own. And I love that a lot of sets also give you your own kind of creative like moment to add in what you feel your character would do. You know what I mean? Because it's like, yes, they would love for you to portray what they wrote, but also you're there to kind of bring it to life and also make it better. So it's a collaboration type thing, which I absolutely love.
You got a little bit of taste of a high level athlete life via Swagger. For you,
Yeah.
like, did you play sports at a high level at any point, or no, not really?
Nah, like I played like, pickup games in basketball parks with my dad, friends, football, this and that, like sport wise, but I never really got to do like competitive sport, like actually, because I got to do high school for like a year.
Ah.
Just freshman year, then I left and had to do online homeschool because the acting was coming in. I was kind of too busy for actual, so I had
Yeah.
to stick to online. But it was cool. So that's why I take a lot of enjoyment when I do get to do roles like this because it's like, okay, I didn't get to experience that. So look, I'm on the basketball team. Oh, we varsity, we J, all that. I'm like, okay, that's kind of cool. And then the whole high school experience thing too, because I didn't get a lot of that. I got a little glimpse, but it was cool to kind of share that experience with other people your age and people that you can now call brothers and sisters and this and that. We spent so close proximity with each other. So weird.
Well, from after that experience in another world, would you ever like pursue a sport or play a sport if in another universe?
In another world, probably it would be cool. Other than basketball, maybe football, or I've always wanted to kind of like get into soccer. It's like I
Oh,
ain't
I played
know.
soccer.
It's really interesting. Have you? Because I
Yeah.
played like sometimes like I played goalie for a bit, but like I've always wanted like just to kind of learn the game, get into it, and it would be cool to do either be on a team like that. So in another life, probably a soccer player or a football player or something like that. That would be cool. That would be cool.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so for me, I grew up playing soccer. So I played it
Mhm.
through till college. And then after that, I went into the regular work life right after.
Real work life. I feel it.
Yeah,
I feel
but
it.
I mean, for me, it was I mean, it was kind of similar, where my career really started when I was younger. It was when I was 17. I actually had a website. I had one of the most popular sports blogs for high school basketball when I was 17.
Okay, okay,
Yeah,
young
yeah, you know? So I was
there.
like, I was interviewing people like Kyrie Irving, Devin Booker, all that. So it was pretty cool. But definitely, like, when you start at such a young age, like you were talking about, you go through different experiences. And for you, you were in high school for freshman year, and then you no longer were there, so you didn't quite have that experience. And so, how do you, like, I know one of the things that I sometimes struggle with is like having to explain some of the things that I go through and what I do to people who, for lack of better words, just have 9 to 5s. Like, they don't really
Right.
understand this life, and it's so
Yeah.
challenging to communicate that. Like, so as you've been continuing on your journey, how have you been able to communicate to your loved ones, like, what you do, your trials, your tribulations, like what it means to actually have a career in entertainment?
Well, it's always a little difficult at first because, especially coming from like either a black household, but even especially a Nigerian household where that's not the typical path that a lot of they would hope for their children. But my parents breaking the cycle was very different. A lot of my other cousins and family members were so envious because like, oh wow, they're allowing you to like try this out and do this or dye your hair or do music or do like the non-traditional 9 to 5 doctor, lawyer, the whole 9 yards of everything. It wasn't as hard as I thought it was gonna be when we started breaking. Because even at a young age, I'm already aware of how our culture is and this and that. So slowly venturing into that and seeing how open my mom, my dad, my brother, everybody was to kind of like, okay, this is something I do and I do it pretty well, and that I actually wanted to make a life and career out of for myself. And I got lucky. And I don't know everybody has the same thing where okay, oh, either parents 100% accepting. Sometimes you won't get parents that aren't. Sometimes you will, but that definitely was the big difference in making stuff a lot easier for my transition into that kind of lifestyle, and also having them with me and supporting. But then, as far as people to talk to, like I have other friends in the industry. I have a lot of other friends that do the same thing that I do, which also made it a lot easier to work in it. Because even when after I left high school, I had other friends that also online as well. So if when my school friends are actually in class right now, or they can't get off soon, then okay, I go hang with my other friends. But I still kept a good relationship with everybody, pretty
Yeah.
much. You know, what I mean, I can still visit. I visit the school sometimes. There's times where I put on my backpack, had my old ID, and just kind of just visited the campus. We ain't gonna say everybody, but visited the campus like that and let them know. But yeah, definitely lucky that my family was definitely one of the different parents of that to kind of understand and
Yeah.
like willing to understand and learn with me.
Yeah, I was very lucky too. For me, my mom was very understanding. I think the only thing, like, my mom was always like, "Listen, go for it, but have a plan." Yeah, I'm very lucky too. My parents were very understanding when I went. I had 9 to 5s. Like, I was a journalist. I worked for various different companies, and then I eventually told my mom, I was like, I want to have I want to be my own boss. Like, I want to be like a full-time freelancer. I want to pursue the different things. Like, I want to do hosting and do TV work and then, get into this.
Right there,
Yeah. And then she,
have it
yeah,
all.
have it all. And she was just like, all right, well, what's your plan? And I was like, this is my 6 month plan, year. Like, my mom is the kind of person where I have to show her what I plan on doing, and then she'll be
Yeah,
super supportive. She's like, you can't just go and just, yeah. Same thing for you?
say it. You gotta show me a platform, a physical representation. At least tell me what you plan to do. My mom is the exact
Mm-hmm.
same way.
Yeah.
Fully understand.
Because my mom's like, listen, if you're gonna go after your dreams, you gotta have a plan. You have to have a direction. You can't just go, and because she's like, you may just be running around in circles, and you
Right.
make nothing of it. So you just have to have a
Yeah.
plan. But did you expect in your plan to have a role as a producer? You're working on the Stepmother 3, and you step into this new role. So talk to us a little bit about like that new responsibility, and how did you approach this project differently than like your previous work?
It was definitely interesting. It's something that after a while. in the acting world and stuff. That's something I definitely have always wanted to venture in, and as well as writing, which I'm still working on that. But it was very cool to kind of have like pretty much see what all my other directors or producers of other shows I've been in kind of be in their position. I'm like, wow, I'm telling y'all, it's either I'm yelling cut action. I'm having a little, say so on what goes in and what doesn't go on. It's different level of like, what it's definitely a little greener on the other side for sure. But it was really cool because I got to help out with a lot of, like, especially the stunt coordinating for that because there's a lot of fight scenes and this and that I made. I'm like, wow, I can look at that and say, okay, I coordinated that. This person, and like even, man, never know how to like fully express how the feeling was. It was just such a surreal moment because I never thought I'd be in this position, never, let alone here acting, let alone co-producing on my first film. And definitely seeing my name in them credits when it started for the premiere, and then everybody, oh my god, that was such a great experience. Oh my goodness, I would love to continue to do that again for sure.
Yeah, it's so different, right? It's like, so I used to do producer work for TV. It's a whole
Yeah.
other, like you said, it's a whole other experience. And there's like logistical things you have to do. And it's like, it's a little less, I mean, there is a combination of creativity for it, but it's also a little less that. It's like you're the one that's like keeping everything together for your job.
Everybody on timing. I had to be like Mr. Like Mean Boss sometimes. It was crazy. Like when people weren't either doing what they, you know what I mean, like getting on or like quieting down. Like, hey guys, we gotta get this that before lights out. I was like, yo, I'm saying this. This is usually being said to me because I'm the chatterbox. I'm saying that can't stop talking or getting this, but like I'm over here being like in charge, and it was a different feeling, especially because like, and then because everybody pretty much there was either there's only a couple people that are younger than me, but everybody on set was older
Yeah.
than me. So it's like y'all just gonna listen to what I say like that? Like this crazy. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, it's so. I mean, for you, as you're navigating, like, what are some of the lessons, or like, what are some of the things that you've been learning through the entire process? Because sometimes, like, especially when you work in entertainment, there's certain things that you can't learn unless you're going through it. You know?
Yeah, yeah. Definitely the biggest one and most important one in my mind is patience. Because everybody has the same dream you do, it's like not always original. Everybody wants to either be an actor, a musician, this and that, but they want to do it without either putting in the time or waiting on your part. Because realistically, especially on the acting, actors can go up to weeks, months to years without booking a single thing. So you have to have a real drive and passion for what you do and believe what is meant for you is meant for you. So stop questioning why did this person get it, I didn't get it. Stop questioning why am I not booking as much as this person, this, or comparing yourself to other people. Because I used to kind of do the same thing, like in certain aspects of the thing. But then you realize there's a lot of people that let's say you were big fans of, like let's say Nickelodeon stars, Disney stars when you were younger, and as you got older, okay, didn't see them again. Then ooh, boom, there they are again. They waited on it. They loved the game. They waited on their specific timing, and they put their passion and drive towards it and kept at it no matter what. So patience is the biggest thing you got to have for real, especially if this is something you want to jump into. Because again, this is not no 9 to 5. 9 to 5, okay, they tell you exactly, okay, you come to work, do this, you get paid this, that, and the third. It's not the same. That you gotta hope, you gotta try, you gotta audition and this, and but then use all this stuff and then hope that you probably get the chance to do this, or even be maybe even a callback, or at least let the casting director see you so that maybe they might pick you for another one. There's so much working parts to this. So patience is the biggest thing I learned. For real.
And for you, since you're definitely younger than me, for you, do you feel like social media makes people impatient when it comes to them pursuing a career in entertainment? Do you feel like that contributes to a little bit of it?
I think it's a working part. Well, nowadays everybody is more impatient than things used to be, especially with like social media, technology. Everything is at a click of your finger. So now everybody's expecting everything to just work as fast as the technology is working or social media is working. When in real life, that hasn't really changed. You know what I mean? You still got to keep the same patience. You got to keep the same progressive energy to the things you want to continue to do, but you over here, no, like, nah, I'm supposed to, like, I should get this. I want to do this. I want to do that. It's like all in good time, but you just have to really, if you want it as much as you say you want it, you got to be willing to wait for it. But definitely the patience scale is a lot different than what it used to be.
Yeah, I remember I told someone, they were like, "Oh my gosh, like I want to do what you do. Like tell me like
Mhm.
what's the formula and or blueprint?" And
Yeah.
I was like, "Well, I've been at this for 10 years." So I was like, "You may have to
Right.
take it may take you 10 years to get there." They're like, "What? Really?" I was like, "Yeah. It's
Mhm.
like you're saying, patience, timing, also relationship building. You have to build your skill
Mhm.
sets. Like there's so many things that go
Yeah.
into it."
So many working parts, and I can't tell you how many people have come up to me. Oh, put me on, get me on this show, get me on. It's not how it works.
Yeah,
Not a
no.
catching girl. You would like to know how to start. I got you. You know what I mean? Look up, take acting classes, look up the nearest agency, but make sure, what I mean, have good interviews with them. Make sure they're not just trying to like upsell you talking about, because a lot of agencies will do, oh yeah, I represent this person, this person, this person, this person. So to a new person that's coming to the acting world, oh, that sounds awesome. But realistically, they're only going to focus on their grade A's. They're only going to focus on
Yep.
the people, like, realistically, you get left in the dirt. So you got to really look who fits with you, especially. But yeah, I can't tell you how many people come up. Oh, put me on this. Get me on this venue. Introduce me to this person. Do this. How it works.
No.
You gotta
No.
build up. You gotta start from the bottom, work your way to the top.
Mm-hmm.
And you got, like you said, building relationships. It's not. There's a lot of more working parts than even just um, audition, sending in the tape and auditioning, or going in there. There's a lot more working parts to that. Sometimes it could be off genuine relationships either you or your agency or management has made with other people that also gives you that extra little push.
Mm-hmm.
So that's definitely something I think like everybody should know about this. It's not just no, you're there, boom, poof, you're there. Like, nah, it's a lot of working parts.
Yeah. No, there is absolutely a lot of working parts. And I think that another part to it as well is like, and I mean, and this depends on who you are as a person, but for you, the other part is you do various different humanitarian work in addition to what you do for your career. And I think that's great because I'm the same way. Like, I'm very much someone who gives back. I work with youth, I help to mentor, and I think it's so important. Personally, for me, I feel like it's so important as you go forward, you should pay back in some shape or form. And so for you, as you've been doing your humanitarian work, you served as an ambassador for world peace, youth ambassador. What are some of the perspectives on the work that you do in the humanitarian projects? Like, what is your perspective on that, and how has it changed as you've gotten older and you see how the work and the things you've done, how it impacts people in a positive manner?
So growing up, I've always had what my brother likes to call a savior complex or hero complex, if you will. And it hurt my very being to know that, other people out there didn't have it like I had growing up, or had, the food on the table, both parents in the room, education, this, the toys, anything I could ever want,
Yeah.
you know what I mean, pretty much. And it really hurt me. So anytime we would see anybody on the street or this, I would make my parents, everybody stop, stop, stop. Let's go over there, give them whatever you got, or help, like whatever you can. That was always my thing. So when the music had taken off a little bit and I started understanding more in the industry and more about like the world as in itself, I was like, okay, how do I want to use that to kind of help on this side
Mm-hmm.
of what I want to do on helping others and the less fortunate and other kids that probably don't have it as good as me. So a lot when we went, a big part of it started when that's where Jump started actually. When we went to Nigeria, when one of my times I was going there for like touring and working with other artists and stuff like that, we put together kind of like a cool little fundraiser concert type thing, and we provided scholarships for a lot of the kids at the school. We donated new instruments to their program, and all this is coming from not only because my own personal money, my parents' personal money, because they also wanted to help me, and also what the proceeds generated for like the certain concerts that we did with other artists out there. And all the proceeds gone into. We did the performances there. I got to go in the center and see all these happy kids with all the new toys they got, all the new instruments, all these scholarships, and I'm like, it impacted me big when I was a kid, but even more so realizing, like when I got older, I'm like, wow, that's different.
Yeah.
That's real different. I'm surprised I had that mindset because me not also being aware. Because sometimes when you're when you're a kid, you're in your own world. You're assuming everybody probably thinks the same as you and this and that. So I'm like, growing up, realizing I'm like, oh shoot, that's even crazier because not a lot of people would have the same mindset to do that with the money they're making from various jobs or concerts or music, whatever the thing may be.
Yeah.
Because not to say I didn't treat myself, but it's like that wasn't my first initial thinking. I wanted to do what I could to help others because of, yes, the savior complex and all that. It just really hurt my entire being if I wasn't able to help. So we expanded on that, created a whole. They made up the name. I didn't pick the name. It was something with my name in it. Z Money. It might have changed now because I think they partnered up with other. They took it to a whole nother level and partnered up with other artists that I'm blanking right now. I have a terrible memory. But
No, it's
at the same
okay. I
time.
mean, you do a lot. It's okay.
No, yeah. But that all these kids over here chanting, thanking me, and then there was still a big part of the fan base too. That still to this day, even a lot of the kids that I've helped at that time tap back in the base with me, checking on me, seeing how you're good, and if I can, and if I see it, I respond back. I'm saying I'm glad everything worked out. And they still thank me to this day, and it's like, wow, that's so cool. That's just it gives you the warm and fuzzy feeling inside and all that. But then not only that, afterwards we opened a chapter in Atlanta, and I did a whole charity concert out there as well, where I shot a music video, and it was called Promise. Was it maybe 6th or 7th song? Not sure. I've done a lot since then. But it was about pretty much how I felt about people overlooking the important things. You weren't about like, okay, the cools, the shoes, the fancy this, the cars, all this other stuff, instead of what really matters. It's cool to have it. It's cool to get your stuff there, but it's like for you to make that what you're all about and not think you have to give back. Like a little will go a long way. Even if I've seen people like be inherently rude to, like, let's say a person that would be sleeping under the subway or under a bridge or something like that, walk past begging for money, kicking this. Like I saw a lot of this as a kid, so that pushed me to make that song. And we kind of found a lot of jobs for the other less fortunate, either people in the city and kids and all that, to join in the video and also, get paid a retainer and all that, and just join in the fun and kind of just spread awareness, give back. Give till it hurts, even just a little, and all that. And I really did have a whole savior complex phase, like that era. Like I'm still a very fan person, something I'm still very into. But I was just so deep into that as a kid. I'm just now realizing it's coming to me, realizing it now. But yes, mainly started mainly in Nigeria, outsourced to LA, then Atlanta, and so forth. And we still have the funds. I still donate every year to my prospective funds and charities that we do for like the motherless children's, where, man, that was so long ago. I was like 13. That's so wild. Sorry, I'm just having this on nostalgia as we're talking about it, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's fun. I mean, hey, it's good that you are really wanting to give back. It's funny. Listen, there's plenty of people who have the savior complex. It happens.
Yeah.
But all in all, I think it's still good that you wanted to give back. You helped others. And even through this interview, you're helping a lot of different people. And so for every episode, I like to always end with this question, because even though you've been dropping gems throughout this entire interview, what is that one real gem that you want everyone to take away from this interview? What do you want the people who aspire to be actor, to get into music, who want to be in the position that you are in currently, what's that one real gem that you want to leave with them?
You have to be active. Nothing gets done sitting around talking about it and planning, I want to do this, it would be nice if I did this. You got to get up. Like, I've even been in my low times where it's like, okay, I'm sitting, I'm lazy, I'm talking how I want things to go, but you're not really getting up or doing anything to help you get there. Because realistically, so much you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. And I know that's been coined. Everybody's saying I don't mean to just be a cliche, but it's so true. Like I can't tell you how many times in my life I've been surprised by roads I've went down that I've actually took the initiative to put myself there and it working out. Sometimes it doesn't, but a lot of the time it can. And when it does, it's like, wow, it gives you such a whole new mindset on things like, wow, why did I do this all the time? I'm going to start doing this progressively from now on. Like, so get active, you know what I mean? So a second one, active and patience. Like those are the two biggest things I think have out of all the lessons I've learned, and there are a lot, they're all important, but these are the two ones that stuck with me specifically. It's like, you like get up, go do something. Don't wait for that to come to you. Don't wait to hopefully this happens. Hopefully this will make it happen. You know what I mean? If you over here not getting as many auditions as you like, go to Backstage. There's a lot of other breakdown sites where you can book your own auditions. Or you're not thinking you filming the right self tapes or this or that, or you can't find a person. Get you a blue sheet, a ring light, put your phone in there, record. Like there's so much you could be doing. There's a lot of working parts of things, but you could get yourself there a lot faster if you would get up, get active. And also, again, if this is for you, if it's something you love and dedicated to, you have such a deep passion for, then you have to have patience. It's going to have time because this is not for the faint of heart. I'll tell you right now, there's so many people I have plugged on or showed them the first steps to doing what I do, either on music, either on acting, all this stuff. And within a week or maybe even a couple months, they're like, I'm not looking at it. I'm going to quit. I'm like, I mean, you do what you want to do, but if you say this is like, as you said, this means this much to you, and you love this, you with all your heart, you would that, this and that, then you really gotta stick it through. You gotta hang in there, and keep it pushing. But then at the same as the people that quit early, there's people that I put on that actually kept going, and a couple of people, I ain't even gonna name names right now, but my people I'm friends with that have been booking, doing good, seeing their faces a little more. I couldn't be prouder. And some that thank me, so like, for putting me on the path to tell me not to give up, because there's times you're gonna want to be like, well, I don't know, because you get to the year mark or a couple years mark, it's like, dang, it's not me, I don't want to do this anymore, it's killing my spirit, this and that. Keep going. That's when you got to do it the most. When you feel like, you have done all you can, you're not doing, you got to keep going. You didn't come all this way just to drop it now. What are you going to do now? You know what I mean? Go back to not knocking 9 to 5s. Everybody has a path that they want to take or have to take. But that I know, that's not what you want to do. Yeah. You're going to be the most unhappy, the most pissed off at yourself that you didn't keep going. So keep it pushing, keep going, get active, and have patience.
Yeah, it's like this, there's like this photo of like two people digging, and there's like one person and they quit, and they were just there at like the diamond. They were just there. If they just pushed a little bit longer, they could have gotten there. But like you said, it's not for the faint of heart. You got to really love what you do. I always say, if money didn't exist, would you still love doing what you do? And if so, then that's the passion and drive you need.
Passion, that's it's real life. That's what you got to ask because I would still love what I do. I would still do if money didn't exist. This is something, especially because acting happened so late. It wasn't so late. I started acting like 15. I say late because everybody I know pretty much started when they were like 5. So, but like music, when I was been my whole thing that I stepped into acting. I didn't think I could love something as much as I love music and as much as that's my niche. And then this one over here being like, wow, it's grown to be such an important part of like me as a person. That's like one of my favorite things. I look and watch movies and TV shows so different after being in this industry. I appreciate things more. I'm able to understand more than I used to, and like point out little things. I'm like, there was a little, you see what happened there when it was up, like, little point out little things. That was a continuity error and this and that stuff I didn't know before. And it's just, man, I don't know. I'm so glad I got to go down this path, and my mom talked me into going down this path, because realistically what had happened for the acting side, I was in the studio. I'm gonna make this very short. I was in the studio. There was an acting manager, I guess, that was leasing the room above us. Mm-hmm. Came down, said he liked what he was listening to, and then looked at me and said, "I like your whole vibe, this and that." I'm like, "Thanks." He said, he told me what he did. He explained he's an acting manager, this, that, and the third, and he says, "I think I have a role coming. I think you'd be great for that. I would like you to try out for." I'm like, "I don't do that. I'm not an actor. I know nothing about that." And then at this moment, everybody around me is like, I think I had some friends that was in the studio with me and stuff like that were saying like, dude, just, and I called my mom, talked about it, and it was like, if just go ahead and do it, try it. If you don't like it, you don't got to do it. You just got, try it. If it happens, it happens. If it don't, it don't. I said, all right, cool. Went down to Warner Bros. Studio, like I think a week or a little bit later, and I'm seeing all the kids I watched on TV. I'm seeing everybody I've ever idolized or this and that, like just all around the studio, either auditioning or just working. I'm like, I'm not getting this. I go in, meet the two meanest ladies. I had meanest looking ladies from what it looked like I had ever seen, and it was awesome. Okay, go ahead. And I'm like, I did it to the best of my ability. They're like, okay, thank you. Next. I'm like, cool. Dip. And I think I've disassociated from the entire process and all that. And so a week later, my mom got a call and it was like, oh, okay, you got it. And just screaming and jumping up and down. And then she tells me, I'm like, what's happening? She's like, oh, you got it. I'm like, God, what? Because like I said, I disassociated from it. I didn't think I was going to. I didn't care. I was just trying it for the sake of them saying to try it.
Yeah.
But tells me I'm job. I'm like, okay, that's cool. And I'm like, continuing on. First time I set foot on set, it was like a whole different world. I'm like, wow, this is the working parts. Like a lot of stuff you think is okay. When you see a house, you think the inside is really the inside. Nope, the inside is a built set. The house is a separate location. There's just so much. But man, I didn't think I was gonna be this big part of my life for real.
Well, listen, you have been on a really great roller coaster in terms of your career, and it's still going to keep going. You're still going to be thriving. You're going to be doing amazing things, and you have been doing amazing things, especially at a young age, and that's been awesome to see. And for those who want to learn more about you and like what you do and all that, where can they find you on social media?
Yes. On Instagram, you guys can find me on Z Money for Real. That's ZMNY, the number 4, real. TikTok, I am Ozie, IE. On Twitter, I think it's ZMNY _, the number 4, real again. And y'all look out for a lot of projects I'm about to be dropping soon on the music scale. Got a first single